Jai Ma to all present. Welcome to this auspicious day. First of all, wishing all the mothers a very happy Mother's Day. It wasn't planned. We had planned for the online satsang, but we went knowing that it's going to be Mother's Day. We had no idea. So it seems it's Mother's Day, the Divine Mother's Day also, and very thankful for all those who are present today in this auspicious occasion. So we will start with Ma's Dhyan. This Dhyan mantra was written by one of Ma's foremost disciples, Bhaiji, Sri Jyotish Chandra Roy. And whenever someone does Ma's puja, we contemplate first on this Matri Dhyan. So I would request everyone to have Ma's image in front of.
You have to repeat one more time.
Yes. Sorry, we got disconnected. In the beginning, we are starting with Ma's Dhyana mantra. This Dhyana mantra is very important because in Ma's tradition, in Ma's ashrams, before we do Ma's puja or starting kirtan in ashrams, this Dhyana mantra is done. This was written by one of Ma's foremost disciples, Bhaiji, Sri Jyotish Chandra Roy. Sri Jyotish Chandra Roy was the person who gave Ma the name Nirmala Anandamayi Ma. You know, Ma's name, the birth name was Nirmala Sundari Devi. It was a beautiful lila, a beautiful play of Ma, how even she got this name. She kind of, we can say, blackmailed Bhaiji. It's a very interesting episode. And the entire event, how it happened and how she got the name, with which we all know her today. So I would request everyone that I hope you all have seen Ma's photo somewhere or the other. So have her in your mind and just listen to the Ma's Dhyan I will be doing now in the traditional tune which is done since Ma's time, which was given by Bhaiji himself. So before the Dhyan, I will start with thrice. Om Ma, Shri Ma, Jaya Jaya Ma. 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 धृत सहज समाधि विभ्रते हेमकान्तिं नयना सरसिजाभ्यां स्नेह राशि किरतिं मनसि कलित भक्तिं भक्तमानन्दयन्ति स्मितजित शरदिन्दुं Matara धीमहि तपन शकल कल्पम कल्पवृक्षोपमा शरणागत जनाना तारक क्लेश पाशा हृदय कमला मध्ये स्थापये त्वेह मातुः विविधा विहित कल्प श्रीपाद पीठम भजामि श्रीपाद पीठम स्मरामि श्रीपाद पीठा नमामि श्रीपाद पीठम भजामि। So I'm going to read the English meaning of this dhyana mantra, so it's easy for you all to understand. Om Dhrita Sahaja Samadhim Vibhratim Hemakantim. Om. She is always in a state of natural samadhi, emanating golden hues. Nayana Sarasijabhyam Sneharashin Kirantim. From the two lotus eyes of Ma, rays of affection are eternally radiating. Manasi Kalita Bhaktim Bhaktamanandayantim. The supreme love adorning the mind gives joy to the devotees. Smita Jitta Sharadindum Mataram Dhimahi. Her gentle smile even wins over the beauty of autumnal moon. Tapana Shakala Kalpa Kalpa Vrikshopamanam. She is like the sun in totality, resembling the wish-fulfilling tree, Kalpa Vriksha. Sharanagata Jananam Tarakam Klesha Pashat. She is the saver of those who seek refuge from the leash of worldly afflictions. Hridaya Kamala Madhye Sthapayitveha Matuhu. By placing Ma on the lotus feet of our heart, Vihita Vividha Kalpam Padapitham Bhajami. Shri Padapitham Smarami. Shri Padapitham Bhajami. By placing Ma on the lotus feet of our heart, I worship, I remember, and I bow down always. So this is Sri Sri Ma's Matrika Dhyan. So as we all are present, Ma's Vani, there is a beautiful Ma's Vani. Ma said once that somebody asked Ma that when you are in your all, embracing, emanating form, that is when you are in the form of Brahma, Purna Brahma. It's a very interesting question. Do you think about your devotees, or do you think about us? Do you have cognition that we exist? And Ma said, even when anybody, anywhere in the world is even talking about this body, the faces of those who are talking comes alive in front of this body's eyes as the flash of a torchlight has been put on your faces. कि माँ के बारे में अगर कहीं पे बात भी हो रहा है तो माँ अभी भी just visualize that हमारे ऊपर टॉर्च लाइट पड़ रहा है मुंह पे और माँ हम लोग को देख रही है. So that's what Ma has said. And very sweetly she would always say, because sometimes, Ma's vanis or some things which she would assure are so magnanimous in nature that, sometimes with a rational mind, we feel, is it true? Really? So Ma, even many times would assure, this body never tells lies. ये शरीर कभी झूठ नहीं बोलता है. So I feel right now, in all our houses, online, you all are joining. Everywhere, my standing, my sitting, everywhere. Just like Krishna's Ras Leela. In Krishna's Ras Leela, Krishna was one, and the gopis were so many. But Krishna created so many of his forms that every gopi would feel Krishna is only with me. So Maya is like that. She's present over behind each of us back in your house. So right now she is everywhere. When we are even thinking, talking, anything we are doing. So let's pray to Ma that this satsang, or we can say sangam, confluence of all those. It's not only for devotees of Ma. Devotee, we don't know if we can become devotees ever. But all those who seek, we all are seekers in the same path, walking on the same path. We seek something eternal, some eternal quest, something for which we are taking birth always. So this is a platform through which we would like to start and share about the guidance, the eternal guidance, which has been given by so many masters, from Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa to Kabir to Guru Nanak to the gurus today. Ekah Satya Bahudha Vadanti. It's a Vakya from the Veda. Ekah Satya Bahudha Vadanti. There's one eternal truth. Nothing new Ma has told, or nothing new. But it is the nature of Maya, this illusion of the world. We forget. That's why मैं बोलता हूँ कि हम लोग इतने we are so forgetful कि इन लोगों को बार-बार आना पड़ता है हम लोगों को बताने के लिए. So through this platform, mainly yes, focusing on Ma, it's a sangam, it's a confluence of all those who seek something. So let's hope that focusing on Ma's Vanis, focusing on reading, that is, we are going to read from the books which are the primary sources of information of Ma's life and Ma's lila, and also the kirtan tradition, the singing tradition. Ma's ashram or Ma's lineage has a huge tradition of beautiful melodious tradition of kirtans. ऐसे kirtan हुए हैं which Ma herself sang, and they all have divine origins. Like those kirtans are not like lyrics were made by somebody or written. They have beautiful stories, how they and their tunes and all these things came. So we seek that through this satsang and this platform, we all can learn, even from Ma. It will be very interesting in our coming sessions. You will get to know, later on we will reveal that we are going to be trained by Ma herself in how to sing these kirtans. Ma is going to be our music teacher. You will see how it will happen. So that is the motive of this journey we are about to start. Today is the first session. And again, I am doing pranam to you all because you all are also the form of Ma. Because Bhakta, the other day, Kamlesh sir was telling in one satsang session with Preeti ji that never underestimate yourself as a Bhakta. Never underestimate yourself as a devotee. Because the Bhakta and Bhagwan are same. It is Bhagwan only who comes in the form of Bhakta. क्योंकि अगर दो नहीं होंगे, भक्त नहीं होंगे तो भगवान नहीं तो भक्त नहीं. और अगर इन दो नहीं होंगे, there is not going to be lila. लीला नहीं होगी ना. There is not going to be any play, any enjoyment. So here, all who are present, I bow down and I do pranam to Ma, who is present in all of us in the form of our bhakti, of our faith. So now, the first book. So the program is going to be like that, and you all are welcome as this is our first session. So probably, we will open the first 2-3 sessions for you all to give your own viewpoint, what we can do better, what we can add, or what we may change in the program, because it's for you all. So the current thing which we have decided is, in the beginning, we would start with Ma's Dhyan in every, and we will send you all the text of Ma's Dhyan so that you all have it, and we all can do it together from the next session. And after Ma's Dhyan, we will start with 15 minutes of book reading. So the first book, we will send you all the copies of the book, is Matri-Darshan. It's a beautiful name which was given by Bhaiji. It is actually the first book which was ever written on Ma by Sri Jyotish Chandra Roy. The English name of the book is Mother as Revealed to Me. But somehow that doesn't catches the essence which Bhaiji gave to the name Matri-Darshan. Darshan means philosophy also, and Darshan means darshan, seeing the divine. So that book is very important. One of the first books which even many devotees who came from outside, it used to be the first book ever read on Ma. So we'll start by reading that book. It is about experiences Bhaiji had, because Bhaiji was one of the first people to understand Ma's magnanimous presence and divinity. So through that book, we will go on to that journey, that how this guy, Bhaiji was, he was a very high posted civil servant in British India, in Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh today, and how he came to Ma. And it was just an association of 12 years, him with Ma. And in those 12 years, how, so through that book, we are going to understand about the very beginnings of Ma's lila. So I think you all have joined online. Do you all have the PDF already of the book? No.
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. So
You
I have to make sure that copy is different. Mhm. So regarding this book, I'm not reading the foreword, but giving a little introduction, how this book came up to be. So The devotees of Ma call Jyotishchandra Rai as Bhaiji. So we are going to refer to him as Bhaiji. So Bhaiji, Anandamayi Ma's husband, and a group of people, they embarked on a journey towards Kailash in the year around 1936. So before going to Kailash, Bhaiji gave the manuscript of this book to one of his relatives and said, by the time I will be coming back, please see that this has been published. But, unfortunately, on his way back from Kailash, Bhaiji left his body, that is, died. So it was just after he has left his body, died, this book was published. So he gave these names, these chapters. The first chapter is called Matri-Darshan in itself. Then a chapter is called Mantra Vibhuti. These are very deep chapters. And Bhav Vibhuti, Yoga Vibhuti, Samadhi Bhav, Lila Khala. Khala in Bengali means play, the play of Lila. Ashram, on the way to new life, in the distant lands. And he has some special chapters written on Shri Shri Ma herself, Shri Shri Pitaji, that is on Ma's husband. He wrote about his own self. And then there are some 12 Vanis of Bhaiji. So those are very important, these 12 Vanis of Bhaiji. So rather, today, starting the chapter in itself, next time you will have the book, I would like to start with the 12 Vanis of Bhaiji, which are very... See, some of the Vanis were meant to be adhered when Ma was in her body. But still, those Vanis at a very deeper, subtler level are important. So I would ask everybody that should I read it in Hindi or in English for everybody's? Make Just give me a moment. Okay, so Bhaiji's 12 Vanis are here for you all. In Hindi, Shri Shri माँ के भक्त यह 12 बातें हमेशा याद रखें. The devotees of Shri Shri Ma should always remember the following. First Vani of Bhaiji. भगवान या ईश्वर कहने से हमारी धारणा में जो सम्मुख आता है वही मां का मूर्त प्रकाश है. What we conceive of as Bhagavan or Ishvara, God, Shri Shri Ma is a manifestation of that. उनका शरीर और क्रीड़ा कौतुक सभी अप्राकृतिक और असाधारण है. Her body, her lila, activities, all this is supernatural and extraordinary. ऐसी बुद्धि से प्रतिष्ठित हो सब कर्म ध्यान और ज्ञान में उन्हें उपास्य देवी मानकर उनके चरण कमलों को हृदय में स्थापित कर सकने पर परमार्थ पथ में अन्य किसी आश्रय की आवश्यकता न होगी. Being established in this faith, being convinced that she is the only object of worship in all our actions, our contemplation, and our pursuit of knowledge, if one is able to set one's heart at her lotus feet, then one will not need any other support on the spiritual path. It's very beautiful, but here, until and unless one has Ma's grace, or until and unless Ma reveals herself in that highest form to somebody, it's difficult for somebody to consider her as Ishvara or Bhagwan. So Bhaiji very beautifully is the next Vani. If somebody is not able to do something like this, contemplate Ma in this highest form, then what one should do? देहधारी से ऊंचा ना मान सकने पर उनकी उदारता, कर्तव्य परायणता, प्रसन्नता, सौम्यता, समभाव आदि किसी एक गुण को आदर्श मानकर चल. If one is unable to conceive of her as someone beyond the category of embodied persons, then one should progress on one's own path by holding on to any one of her qualities as one's ideal. That is, namely, dutifulness, pleasant, blissful nature, serenity, magnanimity, equanimity, or so on. Even as human beings, if we can, these qualities which Ma embodied when she was living, if we can only focus and if we can personify even one of these qualities in us, we are going to become, I would say, much better human beings. Even thinking about mixing all these qualities and attaining is kind of impossible for us. Even one quality. तीसरा वाणी, the third वाणी, उनके हाव भाव, बातें, हंसी तमाशे, चलने फिरने, खाने पहनने आदि के साथ सौभाग्यवश किसी का संयोग हो तो साधारण बुद्धि से अपने को खो बैठना नहीं चाहिए, वरन सहिष्णुता के साथ उनके प्रत्येक कार्यकलाप के विशेषत्व तथा माधुर्य की हृदय में उपलब्धि करना चाहिए. This is something very important, very deep. If fortunately one happens to witness her various bhavas, her speech, laughter, frolics, walking, eating and drinking, etc., then one should not misconstrue them as ordinary worldly behavior and thus lose one's ability to reflect. In this situation, one should refrain from overreacting in speech or action. Rather, with patience, one should contemplate on the divine sweetness of each one of her bhavas and upon what is so special about them. See, this is particularly for those people who were there when they came in physical contact with Ma. माँ की लीलाएं ऐसी थी मैक्सिमम समय कि ऑर्डिनरी ब्रेन से हमको लगता था माँ ये क्या कर रही है, what she is doing. One wouldn't even understand because again, here we all say through our rational brain, our rational brain can't stop thinking, our rational brain does not allows us to this. But coming in front of Ma was like a thunderbolt struck to your rationality. That is, there nothing of your mind is going to work. She would devour your mind. She would just, you are there with Ma, you are witnessing something which you cannot at all comprehend with your mind. Before going to the next Vani, in one of the quotes of Ma, Ma, when she first revealed herself, way back, jab Ma Anandamayi Ma nahi thi, जब लोग उनको नहीं जानते थे, जब थोड़ी थोड़ी लीलाएं शुरू हो रही हैं, people had various questions. Again, with the rational mind, we become skeptic. And we very easily हम लोग lecture देते हैं, be positive, think positive. But negativity is so much ingrained in us that हम लोग हर चीज के बारे में, even अगर कुछ दैवीय चीज हो रही है, if something divine is even happening, generally we think something negative about it the first. माँ के लिए भी सही हुआ, वैसा ही हुआ था. Some people thought ये काला जादू कर रही है. Some people thought इसमें भूत आ गया है, इस औरत में चुड़ैल आ गई है, and all these things were happening. So Ma, for the first time when she revealed, Ma's brother, Ma's own, he was a cousin brother, elder brother, he asked Ma, तुम कौन हो? And Ma used these words, पूर्ण ब्रह्म नारायण, नारायणी, Mahadev, Mahadevi. So now this entire thing about Purna Brahma Narayan, it's such a huge word. So one day somebody asked Ma, Ma, ये जो Purna Brahma Narayan तुमने बोला, we are not able to understand what that Purna Brahma Narayan is. And Ma looked at that person and with a very, sincere tone, Ma said, what do you perceive about the notion of Narayana? You only think about the four-hand entity. Narayan ke Chaturbhuj Swarup hai. Do you only think about that four-hand entity? That's Narayan for you. And then, in a very serious tone, she said, only focus. Yes, that she said, do you think you will be able to understand Narayana with this brain of yours, this mind of yours, which is so full of confusion? And then she said, सिर्फ इस शरीर पे ध्यान दो, जहां पे कोई शंका, कोई द्वंद नहीं है. Only focus on this body, where there is no confusion, where there is no doubt. That is, she simply said that even these vanis of Ma, only this sentence, jaldi samajh mein nahi aayega. We'll have to contemplate what Ma is saying. But it's true that with our simple, this brain, we won't be able to understand what God is. So, on that note, going the fourth vani. वे स्वाधीन है. He's talking about Ma. वे स्वाधीन है. इच्छा व अनिच्छा बद्ध जीव का धर्म है. वे इच्छा से कुछ कहती या बोलती नहीं है. हम लोगों का जैसा प्रयोजन है, उसके अनुसार उनमें महती इच्छा का स्फुरन होता है. I'm reading it in English. She is ever free. The polarity between wish and non-wish, the mental combat between wishing for and wishing against, exists only within the purview of unliberated creaturehood. She does not do anything of her own will. Her sublime will manifests according to what each one of you need. माँ बोलती थी ना, जैसा बजाओगे वैसा बजेगा, जैसा बजाओगे वैसा बजेगा. As and same thing. Ma is saying these things very simply. Even Tulsidas ji has said, जिसकी रही भावना जैसी प्रभु मूरत then some देखी तिन तैसी. So Ma हमेशा बोलती थी कि we have these photographs of Ma in samadhi, but again the difference, what I have understood little bit, that other people's samadhi happens because they wanted the samadhi, they have reached that state after doing lots of sadhana and many lives and all. बट माँ बोलती थी कि शरीर को समाधि किसी चीज की जरूरत नहीं है. हो सकता है राइट नाउ वी ऑल आर सिटिंग, ऐसा ही होता था, माँ यहाँ बैठी है, किसी के मन में भयानक इच्छा आ रही है, आई वॉन्ट टू सी माँ इन समाधि, आई वॉन्ट टू हैव दर्शन ऑफ माँ इन समाधि. And if that bhava of that person was one pointedly very sharp, Ma's body would simply react. Her body would just go in samadhi. So she would always say that this body is here only because you all wanted it. You all have prayed for it. And not only human beings. Once she very explicitly said that not only you all, the rocks, the rivers, the trees, birds, Vishwa Charachar, the entire cosmos wanted this body. That's why the body has come. So she was sometimes she would act like she's irritated, that वो बोलती थी क्यों ये प्रश्न आ रहा है कि who you are, why you are here. She said because you all want it. So simply it's here. So she was here just, she is here just for us. And doesn't matter if her body is there or not, physical body. Still, if somebody has that kind of an intense desire, she fulfills that. And probably many of you must have had witnessed it in your life. The fifth one. उनके द्वारा अथवा उनकी दृष्टि के द्वारा हम लोगों की बुद्धि विवेचना के अनुकूल या प्रतिकूल जो कुछ घटे उसमें कुछ निगूढ़ रहस्य छिपा है, ऐसा दृढ़ विश्वास रखकर बिना प्रतिवाद शांत मन से सब ग्रहण करना चाहिए. Whatever is caused by her, whatever happens within her view, be it for our benefit or against our benefit, according to our understanding. In each of such occurrences, there is some inscrutable secret. With this belief, one should accept everything without any protest, with a peaceful mind. I would just give everybody. See, I used to be a school teacher, so I have the habit of giving homeworks. For today, I would just give you all the Bhakta Vrinda here. This Vani, the fifth one. We will share the Vanis with you all today after the end of the satsang. The fifth Vani, that is whatever is caused by her. Let's not think about Ma. Whatever is caused about God in our life. Whatever happens within cosmic order, the view, be it for our benefit or against our benefit, but see the word, according to our understanding. हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, भगवान ये तुमने मेरे साथ क्या कर दिया, इतना बुरा कर दिया. जब अच्छा होता है तो सब अच्छा होता है. इसके लिए भी माँ ने एक बार बोला था, and very seldom माँ बहुत she used to stress on something, and she said कि ये मानना भी, she didn't use the word pa, but ये मानना भी it's like a paramount mistake कि भगवान कभी बुरा कर सकते हैं. माँ ने साफ साफ बोला ये मानना भी सबसे बड़ी गलती है कि भगवान कभी बुरा कर सकते हैं. So I heard it from another great lady, Vishuddha Chakravarti. She is the oldest person right now in Anandamayi Ma's ashram, one of Ma's girls, as we call them. So she taught me that kripa, दो तरह की होती है. निग्रह कृपा, अनुग्रह कृपा. Anugrah kripa is, example, I'm struggling, I want a job, and next month you get a job. Direct. अच्छा, सब अच्छा हो रहा है. Anugrah kripa. Obviously that's good. But the faith, our test of faith happens when God showers on us Nigraha kripa. to be in rough English, negative kripa. Negative, but again, it is our consciousness which is saying it's negative. कि कुछ बुरा होता है हमारे साथ, हमें लगता है बुरा हुआ, लेकिन बाद में बहुत समय बाद या बाद में पता चलता है कि अच्छा ये हुआ. Let us say, like I'm giving you this example. Last year only that flight didn't crashed in Gujarat, and I remember one guy, he lived, but I remember another person was saved because they missed the flight. So generally क्या होता है, if we miss the flight, obviously we have some reason to get the flight, something important, everything is important for us, apart from the real importance. The worldly important, everything is worldly important. Imagine that person in the airport. Oh, my flight छूट गया, पैसा कब मिलेगा, and all. Must have felt so bad. That was Nigraha Kripa at that moment. But the moment the plane must have crashed, that person must be thanking God for the rest of the life that I missed the flight. But that is the nature of our confused consciousness and brain. That whenever something strikes us, हमारी इच्छा, मेन बात है हमारी उस समय इच्छा पूरी नहीं हुई. हमारी जब इच्छा पूरी नहीं होती है, हम बोलते हैं क्या भगवान, and we lose our faith. But Bhaiji is saying you need to have implicit faith. Whatever happens to you, it is for your good. So just contemplate on one Vani today about this. कि क्या हम कर पाते हैं? Again, this satsang, I and we all do not want it to be satsang. बहुत सारे होते हैं in the world, but here it needs to be something transformative within us. Anyone who is joining, it is for testing ourselves each and every day. That are we even eligible for God? Do we have enough faith to call ourselves devotee or anything? So I think this Vani would help us. That if any in a daily life, gaadi nahi aa rahi, gaadi chhoot gayi, it's in small instances, can we keep our faith and not get tensed? Let's find out. Let's put ourselves on the test. The sixth Vani. किसी को सुकृति के फल स्वरूप यदि माँ उसे आदेश दे तो बिना कुछ सोचे, बिना दुविधा किए उसका प्रतिपालन करना चाहिए. कभी माँ की इच्छा और अपनी इच्छा मिलाने की चेष्टा न करें. माँ ने कुछ बोला, and it did happen. Even in Ma's surroundings ये हुआ. माँ ने कुछ करने को बोला, अच्छा माँ हो सकता है ये बोली होंगी, and putting our own interpretation to her words. Bhaiji is simply saying, never ever do that. Do not with your brain interpret. माँ ने बोला ये करो कर. अभी अगर माँ बोलती है literally, and this happened, I have heard these real things. अगर माँ बोलती है अभी जाओ 4 तल्ले से कूद जाओ, you simply jump. There you should not even think मैं तो मर जाऊंगा चोट लगे. Jump and see what happens. An example of it, माँ के साथ जो ब्रह्मचारी रहते थे, माँ, these are all putting your faith to the test. माँ ऐसे बोलती थी कि this was Brahmachari Kamalakant. Brahmachari Kamalakant is another person who is one of the core people of Kishanpur ashram. Brahmachari Kamalda or Kamalakant, he gave his life to Kishanpur ashram. So माँ ने कमलाकांत दा को बोला, एक कंबल लो, एक ब्लैंकेट, एक बर्तन लो, एंड बस 2 सेट कपड़े, निकल जाओ. एंड जितने तीर्थ है पूरे भारत के सब करके हो, without even giving a money, nothing, जाओ. And these people were like that. ठीक है माँ, निकल गए. And Kamalakanda had told my father this story कि निकल, उस समय तो माँ ने बोला तो निकल गए, लेकिन निकलने के बाद तो दिमाग खराब हो रहा है, कैसे करके करेंगे, कैसे करके वो करेंगे. एंड जैसे ही दिमाग में चिंता आ रहा है, बस माँ को बोल रहे हैं कि माँ कैसे करके होगा, तुमने बोल तो दिया निकल जाओ. And he said that no one would believe that he is going and he wants to reach. The moment he is not able to walk, पैर में दर्द हो जा रहा है, बोल रहे माँ अब नहीं हो रहा है. Suddenly from somewhere a car comes and gives lift. And Kamalakant, there's something very interesting happened. Somewhere here in the Dehradun area or somewhere, there was a slope. Like, you know, when we go to Mussoorie, क्या होता है कि slope रहते हैं, and we need to go around. And he was so sick, like walking and walking. So what he did was, he said, अब नहीं चला जा रहा है, shortcut लेते हैं. Shortcut कैसे लें? Then let's roll down the slopes. So he used to cover himself in the blanket and just roll down. So my father has चोट वोट नहीं, no, कुछ नहीं होता था. सब कुछ सही रहता था. So this is where the sweetness of lila one is able to experience. One, when in the very beginning, one switches off one's rationality switch. मैंने बोला करो, देखा जाएगा क्या. अब जब वो देखा जाएगा क्या होएगा, in that Ma's amazing beauty of lila manifests. But the test of that thing is switch off your rationality. So coming to yes, it's 8:10. So yeah, what we can do, we can start in the next session with the next one is, and I would also like you all, because I have been a victim of taking classes online for students, and most students would sit quiet, not saying anything, and that becomes very irritating. So I want you all to participate, you know, in this. So before, just in the next 5 minutes, today we started late, so I would request you all, you know, that if you can spend 10-15 minutes more with us today. So after this, let us, I will sing a song from Ma's tradition about satsang. It's very important, very beautiful. And after that, we'll conclude. And if any one of you have something to say for today's session, please. So just a moment, I will bring my copy. As I said earlier, that one of the reasons for this satsang, that today, because in Ma's ashram, most of the people from Ma's time are now all very aged, and they are all going one by one. And this tradition of Ma's music with that is disappearing. I feel immensely fortunate to be born to a woman who was one of Ma's girls. My mother, she came to Ma when she was 3 years old, and she studied in Ma's Kanya Gurukul, Anandamayi Peeth in Varanasi. She grew up there, and she was one of the most important people of Ma's time, contributing to the kirtan tradition of Ma. And from her, whatever little tradition and things I could learn, the tunes. So through this satsang, you know, the motive is to preserve these beautiful songs and tunes. चलो चलो सभी, चलो चलो अभी, चलो चलो सभी, चलो चलो अभी, मिली जाई रे माँ की संगत में, हरि गुण गाई रे. चलो चलो सभी, चलो चलो अभी, मिली जाई रे माँ की संगत में हरि गुण गाई रे। माँ की संगत का लाभ कनेरा, मिटे जन्म जन्म का अंधेरा, मिटे जन्म जन्म का अंधेरा। माँ की संगत का लाभ घनेरा, मिटे जन्म जन्म का अंधेरा, मिटे जन्म जन्म का अंधेरा। माँ का नाम सुमर, माँ का नाम सिमर, मिली जाई रे। माँ की संगत में हरि गुण गाई रे। चलो चलो सभी, चलो चलो अभी, मिले जाई रे। माँ की संगत में हरि गुण गाई रे। सतसंग की महिमा अति भारी, ऋषि मुनि पुराण पुकारी, ऋषि मुनि पुराण पुकारी। सतसंग की महिमा अति भारी, ऋषि मुनि पुराण पुकारी, ऋषि मुनि पुराण पुकारी। परमेश्वर के दर, परमेश्वर के दर्शन पाई रे। माँ की संगत में हरि गुण गाई रे। परमेश्वर के दर, परमेश्वर के दर्शन पाई रे। माँ की संगत में हरि गुण गाई रे। चलो चलो सभी, चलो चलो अभी, मिले जाई रे। माँ की संगत में हरि गुण गाई रे। माँ की संगत में हरि गुण गाई रे। माँ की संगत में हरि गुण गाई रे। जय माँ।
जय माँ।
We would like to see you, Karan Bhai. Otherwise, for my students, I have to say, please turn on your camera. Oh, so glad to see you all.
Sir, do you want to address for quick 5 minutes? Like
That would
maybe
be really
like
nice.
there are quite a few people who have joined online, not but Shubham and others. If you could, do you want to do a quick intro of this whole group?